Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the REC podcast, brought to you by the REC Toycast. I'm your host, Roman Chavez, and with me as always,
Erik
Eric.
What's up, dude?
We're starting off with some bad news, man. We are recording this the day after Chadwick Boseman passed away. And dude, like, this sucks. This sucks bad. I hate saying the thoughts and prayers terminology, but really, man, my heart goes out to the family and to the fans, and man, this one, we in a year of just crappy stuff going on, this was just like what a terrible thing to pile on.
Yeah.
I was at work last night. I got the text, and I mean, this was like, it sounds so ridiculous, but this was like getting a text that like a family member had passed.
Yeah.
And I know, and I know that I don't think that we're alone in feeling this way, and I think that just goes to show like what an important person that he was to like the pop culture, to this kind of thread that binds us all. I don't know, man. I'm nearly at a loss for words. This one, I don't want to compare, tragedies, but this one, there was another one earlier in the year that really, just
bummed everyone out.
And it's just, what else can we do this year, man? What else can we?
What else is 2020 trying to take from us? And honestly, for me, it was heavy for me. I don't typically get kind of upset. I mean, it's always sad when somebody dies.
Of course, we've had to pour out a lot this year. We've had a lot of, we talked about old Hollywood and stuff like that, and Kelly Preston, and just definitely some untimely passings this year.
Yeah, and this one hit hardest, and honestly, it's not because of his ties to the MCU. Granted, that's the recognition. I mean, that's how I know this guy mostly.
Sure.
It's because he was a solid human being.
Yeah, just seemed like it.
He just had a lot of... he brought a lot of passion to anything and everything he was in, and just seeing him, put his craft to work was just an honor to watch it for as short time as we had him. And yeah, it just hits me hard because Black Panther. We didn't have the show going when that came out, but I remember telling you, this is it.
Yeah,
this is my fave.
Mm-hmm.
I love this movie. I loved everything they did with it, and me being kind of, just blinders on to the world, like kind of blissfully ignorant. I didn't realize how important this movie was. It was just so good to, like, for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was so personally amazing to me, and not knowing that how important this movie was to a lot of people.
Yeah. And I think that the first thought that I had when I confirmed, because friends of the show, Dave and Jordan, they both kind of text me to let me know what was happening, and man, I gotta say, I feel so bad for the Black community, and I know that in a year of all these terrible things that are happening to that community, it just, like, to take seemingly a good dude. Like, I don't know him, but just seeing, knowing what we know,
right?
How he presented himself. I mean, how he kept this a secret. I mean, this guy was battling stage 3 colon cancer while filming Avengers movies for our entertainment.
That is badass with a capital B and an exclamation point.
This is a guy who had already kind of solidified himself with 42, with Get On Up, and then, like, took on he kind of became this de facto leader of a movement.
Sure.
And just because, just with his presence, his ability to deliver, and then to, like, care, like, when you saw him at basketball games, on interviews and everything, like, you still felt King T'Challa's presence. Like, you felt like you were with royalty.
Yeah, for sure.
And everybody else kind of
everybody. They totally did.
Like, man, like, and I know at some point it had to be a little, like, annoying for him.
Oh, for sure.
But I mean, he seemed to, like, again, wear the mantle of the Black Panther.
Just how RDJ presented Iron Man. He was Tony Stark.
Yeah. I just realized that was also not on right. So
there we go.
I don't want that to be distracting.
That's better.
Yeah. Oh yes, it's showing that light. Dang it!
It's all good.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah, it's all good, man. But it was cool how he was. just when they casted him, I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. But then you don't realize how good the casting was till you see him in action.
Yeah.
And the guy could act with his eyes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, with everything.
Every great actor can act with their eyes, man. And just the way he would exude power or just any emotion with his eyes, you felt it. And it was such a, again, great casting to Marvel. Great job, whoever did that.
And I think that we're going to stick in the MCU realm just because that's such a that's what hits home for us. And I think that when he's talking about his father passing in Civil War, I mean, again, we've talked about RDJ and Chris Evans like bringing real emotion to these guys that fly around in tights, these guys that fight in spandex. Boseman just took it up another level. Yeah. Just brought it up another level.
In Civil War, remember that iconic scene where you see him the first time in the Black Panther costume, you know? Just, you get that upshot of him and you can see the claws and, he steps out of silhouette and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
There he is. That's Black Panther. I never thought I'd see this.
Yeah. In such a way. I don't know, guys. This was a tough one. This was a tough one. And, going back, I was looking through his catalog, as an actor. Because this guy's private. Very
private.
Really?
How do you keep that a secret in this day and age, man?
Yes. And I mean, you have to think that Marvel knew, and then went ahead anyway. And they knew mostly because you got to take physicals and stuff like that to do.
Oh, they had to. You had to, yeah.
But again, you don't have to disclose that type of information either.
No, and good on them.
Yeah.
For not leaking anything, or even somebody who probably saw something.
Yeah.
There's always somebody who's going to know something they shouldn't know.
Yes.
And good on them for not having the respect to not leak that,
This, the positive that we can kind of glean from this is that even though it seemed like it was out, it was definitely out of his control. He kind of went out of his own circumstances. Quiet. Yeah. The statement was that he went peacefully in his bed type of situation. So, I guess that's all we can hope for.
And it's. There was an interview he had, or live stream. Was it a month ago?
I mean, yeah, maybe 6 weeks ago. Yeah, he was in on something.
He looked really gaunt.
Yeah. And everybody, there was articles like fans concerned. About, but we all thought he was doing a role or something. Yeah,
because it's not out. It's not outrageous for an actor to cut.
Not at all.
I mean, Christian Bale has made a career out of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we all kind of were like, oh, okay, he's just doing something good. Yeah. He's committed.
Yeah. Gaining weight, dropping weight, having lispy accents.
That's Christian Bale.
Yeah, that's Christian Bale. Like I said, I went back through his kind of catalog and I pulled out some of the highlights. And I don't know. Like I would love for somebody to do the work because I don't have the wherewithal. But I don't know that there's been an actor who's been this dominant for this short a time and had such an impact on the culture. Right, so we start in 2013 with 42. Yeah. The Jackie Robinson story. Yeah, good movie, man. And when that came out, you were just like, oh, okay, like this is cool. Yeah. And then the next year he does Get On Up. Yeah. And I was like, is this guy gonna play every like who else is he going to play?
Every prominent black role in Hollywood, man.
And Get On Up I actually saw before I saw 42, and I just his his impression was just great. It's good lord, it was so good.
He was amazing, so good.
And then obviously the big one is then in Captain America: Civil War.
Yes.
And I mean, I think we all saw him and we said, okay, sure, he looks the part. Yeah. But like we've talked about it lots of times too. Like I had always kind of envisioned like a Jaimin Hansu type character.
Totally. But we want him for everything.
And I was wondering like how his accent was going to be. And they did like he did such an excellent job of creating an accent that definitely sounds African, but
it's its own dialect almost.
Yes, it seems like
crazy.
Yeah, and everybody else very much they match that. Lupita Nyong'o and oh man, I'm drawing blanks right now, but it was just such a. It had been since Blade. I mean, we had the Falcon, but in terms of like a strong like African American or a strong African character, like we hadn't had that, and
because Blade wasn't even a strong. He was African American.
Exactly.
This guy is representing a whole continent, a whole other continent.
Yeah, like
man.
Falcon. We're not grooming Falcon to be to get his own movie.
Yeah, I thought initially we might have. When he handed the shield to
Yeah.
Sam, I'm like, okay, maybe he's gonna get his own movie.
Yeah.
But I think what they're gonna do the show with him and Sebastian are gonna do.
They're doing the Falcon Winter Soldier thing.
Yeah, which is awesome. I'm great with that. But no, I think they knew for a fact that this guy is going to have to carry the weight after the big three left.
Exactly. This was definitely going to be the start of a new big three.
Yeah.
And in this time, he's diagnosed in 2016. So basically, when Civil War comes out, he does Marshall, about Thurgood Marshall.
Yes.
And then he does Black Panther, and then 2 Avengers movies.
Yeah.
Now, granted, his time in both of those Avengers movies isn't super long, but
right.
I mean, he's running around, he's fighting.
Oh yeah.
And and then obviously, his last 3 major films are like 3 of the highest grossing movies of all time.
Yeah, dude.
There's going to be a couple things coming out.
Posthumously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says The Five Bloods, and that one sounds interesting. I think it's a Netflix movie.
Oh, okay.
And it's about like these I think they're Vietnam vets, and they're like they're either going back to Vietnam or they're going back to some war. They're veterans of some war. It just said vets, and I just always assumed that's Vietnam. But it might be something else actually. And but they're going back to I think they're going back to like recover like remains of their like fallen brother, and then also like I think there's a treasure involved as well, just like the synopsis that I saw. And then
it's like a City Slickers.
Yes.
With Curly's Gold.
Yeah, something like that. And then there's going to be another one. It's Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Mm-hmm. It's based off of August Wilson's 1982 play about the mother of blues.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Just that. I was like, all right, that's interesting. I don't know if that's going to be Netflix or if that's going to be theatrical, but
right.
He does. And from 2013 through, there were other movies up through 2020, but these were just kind of like the heavy hitters.
Right, they pretty much had maybe even edited down.
Yeah, like I didn't see 21 Bridges, which came out last year.
Yeah.
Which was directed by either directed or definitely produced by the Russos.
Who else was in that? I'm trying to remember who else was.
Man, I can't.
I'm shooting blank, drawing.
Jesus.
Sorry, man.
Freudian slip. Yeah, I guess, man. Jesus, we'll talk about that later, I guess. But I mean, this guy, his kind of IMDb goes back to 2007.
Right.
But like I said, but from like 2013 to 2019, I mean, this guy like
owned
and kind of changed, maybe not the world, but definitely like made a mark on it.
I would say he changed the world because he changed how we see superhero cinema.
Yeah.
At that point,
he definitely changed the world for the Black community. Gave representation to kids. Like, I just feel so sick and sad about like the young African American community that had their hero. Okay, we've got this guy, and this is going to be our guy, and I'm going to be able to grow up, and I'm going to be able to see 3 or 4 Black Panther movies, and
it's just taking that away, but. He had a legacy. He left behind such a legacy, and it's so funny. You had to point this out to me was when I saw Black Panther. I didn't realize it was so important to the African American community. I was in there, and I was like, I didn't even know. That's just how oblivious I am to that kind of crap, honestly. But just race nonsense in general. But I was like, wow, this is so important. Because people who typically don't watch comic book movies knew how important this was. Yeah. You know what I mean? And in a way got them into comic books maybe. Or the scene, just the cinema, Yeah. And it was cool. I was like, whoa, this is amazing to see somebody actually, going forward with the MCU and be like, yes, we had Cap. He was, the leader of this.
Yes.
Now we have this new leader who's going to basically take up the mantle for just, the continent of Africa and America. Mm-hmm. It's cool, man.
Yeah, and needing that, being able to put that dynamic in there where, when we see Cap and T'Challa running out ahead in the Battle of Wakanda, just being able to see, like, it was going to be a helpful, social lubricant for what's happening in America right now.
Yeah.
It was definitely like, I didn't, you always see trolls out there, and it's only been a little bit more than 24 hours since the announcement, and I haven't seen anything.
Yeah,
negative.
I haven't either.
Now, where I would have, now I know that there is,
Of course,
but
there hasn't
the amount of just shock and respect that is going out to Chadwick is amazing. Hopefully, the trolls are going to come. Just keep that crap to yourself.
Yeah.
Don't engage too, because it's just like that's what they want.
Yeah. They don't feed the trolls, kids.
Yeah,
don't
man.
feed the trolls.
Yeah.
But seeing Civil War, and oh my God, not only are the action scenes with him just still hold up and are amazing.
Oh,
it's so great.
Yeah,
but
still.
that scene at the end with Zemo, with T'Challa and Zemo, it's up there with me just in cinema.
Oh yeah.
Just how he's like, talking about how vengeance has consumed them. I won't let it consume me.
Yeah.
And the best line in the movie when he's trying to kill himself, and then he's like, what does he say? I'm trying to remember.
He says the living are not done with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a tragedy amongst tragedies. It's something that will stick out as a point in the storm, that when 2021 hits and hopefully things are back to normal or well on their way
the dust
to getting
is beginning to settle.
When things are more positive, we'll all have been stronger for this. We'll all have hopefully united in a different way. But this guy and what he represented in cinema and to just communities in general. Obviously, I think that the Black community feels this the hardest, but then I feel like you have the comic book community up as a second, like
absolutely.
A close second.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because this was something that could this thread connected all walks of life.
Yes.
The comic community is vast.
It's diverse.
It's so diverse. Like, you don't realize it. And I felt like
when you're a nerd.
Yes, I felt like I realized it, but even when we had our auction the other day and we saw like the different array of people.
Yeah, it was just all over the place.
Having fun, talking, bidding on comics, and you just realize, it's not as black and white as it seems.
No, it's not.
But this guy and what he meant to cinema and to all of these communities, I really think that he was going to be the lubricant that we needed to get out of this stuff. Like all that stuff with Wakanda.
Yep.
I mean, again, you got you got little white kids dressing up
as Black Panther, dude.
Panther.
Yeah, it's their fave, man.
And that's great.
That's so cool,
That's exactly what
that's all we wanted. It was like when you see a comic book character, just a fictional character, you in a way you don't really see the race of that person. It's a part of them. Mm-hmm. It's and that's who they are, but you just see a great character that you admire. Yeah. And you're like, oh, I want to be that. Mm-hmm. I want to look up to that. And I think he did such a good job. And it's just devastating because, I mean, just the amount of things this guy did in the short amount of time he had battling one of the most brutal forms of cancer you can get. It's a death sentence, man. And being a total BA, man.
Anything like digestive cancer has got to just not be good. And I was telling you before the show, like I was going through pictures because I was like looking at, and actually like, man, you can totally see it. Like you can totally see like from, announcement photos of him being, cast as Black Panther and then just like him just getting skinnier and skinnier. Totally. And man, but you'd never know it from him. Like we didn't. None of us knew it. Even when we saw that very terrifying picture.
Yeah, we're like, it's just him being, he's prepping for a role. Man. It's all good. And then you get hit in the face with this. Yeah. And, I don't know why this is hitting me harder than normal because celebrities die all the time. Yeah. And like I said, we poured out so much here. I don't know why this is resonating with me so hard, man. Well, I was bummed. I was at work last night. Yeah, and I had to, and I work in the service industry.
Take a second.
And I had to. It was really bothering me, man. I was like, "What is wrong?"
I think it goes back to just the comic book community. We're all, especially those of us on Instagram. Like anytime one of us gets like our Grail book or something that's just hard to find, it's like it's all good job.
Yeah,
like
totally.
it's no like trash talking.
Supportive, Yeah, and it's always it's fun trash talk. Yeah. It's never personal. Yeah. It's like you talking about the sniping stuff. You know what I mean? It's just fun. Yeah. And I think maybe we all in the comic book community, we just kind of just know what it feels like to be an outcast. You know, I mean, comics are literature of the outcast.
Yeah.
And that's why it's what bonds all of us.
And I mean, and I think we feel it so hard because he was in our group. You know, it was like somebody in the comic book community, you know, passing away.
Yeah.
You know, he lit a torch, and it burned bright for us, and it went out way too quick.
Yeah.
It went out.
And who knows what he would have done after Black Panther? I could see this guy just going and being like, I don't even want to compare him to him because you can't compare him, dude.
The only
Sidney Poitier, maybe.
I was gonna say, Sidney Poitier, Denzel Washington in demeanor.
Denzel.
You know,
there
just
you go.
really just like they all sit on the same couch.
There you go. Yeah, yeah, totally, man.
He was going to be this generation's that.
Yeah.
And I think he is. And it's just, you know, we still talk about James Dean, and that fool was only in like 2 movies.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
and I was never really a huge fan of his. I never got it.
I don't get it.
And you think I'd love the dude.
Yeah. Good looking guy. Like I
motorcycles, leather jacket, but Chadwick Boseman was way more important to me.
Oh, completely.
You
completely.
know?
Did you know that yesterday was Jackie Robinson Day?
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, so that's the day in baseball where everybody wears 42.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if you're playing, and I think they do it the whole. I don't know if they do it the whole weekend, but they definitely do it on that day.
Right.
And
that is very, very interesting.
I've got one more for you. Yesterday was Jack Kirby's birthday.
What?
Who created? Yeah, Black Panther. Right there, Fantastic Four, 52 with Stan.
They created it. Yes, it goes to show how ahead of the curve Marvel was for their time.
Mm-hmm.
That must have been hard to put out at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Seriously,
and that was the idea.
Yeah, they didn't care.
Yeah,
like it's just
Black Panther is the first black superhero.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Don't take away my nerd card.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you not knowing it now is making me question it, but I'm pretty sure Black Panther is the first black superhero.
That is crazy, my man.
And, you know, maybe in major publication, maybe there's a caveat, something
probably,
like that.
But something on like a Marvel or DC scale, you know?
Mm-hmm,
Marvel always ahead of the curve when it came to stuff like that, socially conscious stuff.
Completely.
You know, I got so many favorite, awesome Black Panther comic book moments.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got a few that were like, "You're not taking out the Silver Surfer."
Yeah. I think Reginald Hudlin wrote that one. So.
I just loved him, and this is my favorite Black Panther moment in comic books. Of course, I'm going to name drop Infinity.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite. What would you even call it? Runs?
Miniseries.
Miniseries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, major events.
Thanos sends the Black Order, or one of the Black Order, to Wakanda. And someone tells him, "Hey, you know, that's where villains go to die, or tyrants go to die." And it's the big guy.
Mm-hmm.
I always forget his name.
The Black Dwarf.
Yeah, but because his name's Cull Obsidian, I think. Cull Obsidian in the comic book.
Okay.
But anyway, he's the one that gets his arm lobbed off in the movie, and he goes there, and they just get wrecked.
Yeah.
The Wakandans and Black Panther just wreck the Black Order.
Yeah.
And Thanos was like, "I told you." I was like, "Are you sure?" I asked you could handle this. And after, Thanos sends all of his children to go conquer Atlantis, Attilan, Wakanda's the only one still standing.
Yeah.
It's just, that was my favorite moment.
Yeah.
My favorite Black Panther moment. And because it just wasn't reflecting on T'Challa, it was reflecting on Wakanda as a whole.
Sure.
Like, you don't go to Wakanda and start trouble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Eventually, Thanos got there.
Yeah.
With the, kind of how it played out in...
a little bit, yeah.
But that's I love that moment. Mm-hmm. Just them just destroying the Black Order was awesome, dude. Yeah. That was my favorite moment from Black Panther in comic books.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's killer. I love that.
Oh, man. Well, kids, I think that's our show. We just wanted to just kind of spotlight and talk about Chadwick Boseman, and we both felt so raw about it.
Yeah, no, for reals, man. That's why I'm glad I'm wearing sunglasses right now.
Yeah,
I don't know why this is bothering me.
I do, and it's like I said, it's always sad when somebody dies.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
This guy felt like somebody in our fraternity.
There you go. Maybe that's what it was.
Not just a film, but of comics and pop culture and the
Yeah.
stuff that we love. So, and this is kind of I feel like this is our first major death in the MCU of an actor.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm sure we'll feel just as bad, if not when our RDJ or Chris Evans pass in their time.
But
hopefully,
it won't be untimely.
Hopefully, way down the road.
Yeah.
Yes, this is such a shock.
That's why he hits.
This is such a shock. You
He's
know,
he's not that much older than me and you.
Yeah.
And it's a bummer.
Yeah. Well, kids, thank you so much for listening. You can check us out on Instagram at RAC Podcasts, myself at Roman RAC Podcasts.
Gulag_J_Wilden.
Hey, and thanks for sitting with us. Share some Chadwick Boseman memories in the comments.
Black
DM
Panther
us.
stuff.
Black Panther stuff too. You know, like he's our link to that, and we're very thankful that we got to have that with him at least because
Bombay, man.
Yeah, you Bombay.
Yeah, that's how I want to end the show.
Yeah, Wakanda forever, forever in our hearts. The living, we're not done with you. I've been your host, Roman Chavez.
I'm still Eric Icarus.
And we will catch you on the next podcast.